And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head the dirt. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me a boom.
Welcome to Jalen Jacoby. In for Jalen Rose today, who is traveling for the NBA Finals. We have a colleague, a friend, someone we love as much as Brian Colangelo loves his burner Twitter accounts. Katie Nolan, everybody.
I feel like you might love me a little bit more. I hope.
I mean, love's a strong word. You know what I mean?
Yeah, thanks. That's good.
I say I love a lot. Like, I'll say to strangers, waiters, anybody, like Uber drivers, like, I love you. I drop that a lot. And then some people
weird.
don't respond because they take that word very seriously. It's like, I don't mean it like that. You know what I mean? It's like, I respect you.
So I shouldn't take it as a compliment. You say it to everyone.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Let's start.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot to discuss today. Today, when you wake up the day before the NBA Finals, you're like, I guess I'm going to talk about matchups and like how the NBA Finals works. But later on, during the television portion of the show, we'll be discussing Brian Colangelo's fake Twitter accounts. We've got a weird confession from Eminem. We've got NBA Finals, little updates here and there. Kevin Durant has some quotes out. But we're going to talk about what's really important in the world. And that is, because on the podcast we can talk about things that we can't talk about on television because the executives don't listen to the podcast. Nope. They just watch the television show. So, Katie, Roseanne Barr. Are you familiar with Roseanne Barr and her work?
I believe I've heard of her before.
She had a show. It was called Roseanne. And it got canceled. It got canceled in like the 90s. And they brought it back. And it was really popular. It was doing well for the old ABC network. Shout to Disney.
Shout out.
And then she had an extremely, extremely racist tweet on Memorial Day. She got her show canceled. And then she followed up with a tweet sort of explaining what happened. But the tweet was mainly like, look, there's no excuse for what I did. There's no excuse for what I did. There's no excuse for what I did. But I did it while I was on Ambien and it was Memorial Day. But there's no excuse for what I did.
Sounds like an excuse there in the middle.
Yeah, it was. It was an excuse in the middle. Hearing this, what are your responses to Ms. Barr's explanation?
I wish I could speak from a position of authority, but I don't have an experience with Ambien, so I can't say whether that makes a lot of sense or not, because again, I've never taken Ambien. What's the cool way I've never Ambiened before.
Ambiened, I like that.
But I will say, when I take NyQuil and then don't fall asleep, I kind of power through that part. Things get really loopy in my brain.
Yeah.
I'm sure maybe that's what she was saying. But I don't think it would just make you racist. I don't think that's listed on those side effects.
I've taken Ambien only a few times. I don't really like it. I don't like sleeping pills because they make me really groggy when I do eventually wake up.
I think that's the point, yeah.
Yeah. But it can lead to some very strange behaviors. I've seen people eat a lot. And I've seen people kind of make bad jokes and laugh at them. And I've seen people vacuum wooden floors. But never seen it turn anybody racist.
It seems like it allows you to release your innermost whatever you want to do. Like vacuuming wooden floor. I've looked at a wooden floor and been like, why can't I vacuum you? Why must I sweep you?
Yes,
and
exactly.
Then eat a lot of food or all those other things you said. So maybe, and I'm just spitballing here, and of course there's no excuse for what happens when you're an Ambien, but it feels like maybe it was just making her forgetful of the fact that you're not supposed to do that kind of stuff out loud.
Yeah. Well, now Roseanne is gone. Oh well.
She's still with us, but she's just not, we don't have to see it.
I never watched that show anyway, so.
Back in the first time or the second time?
I did, of course. That was the only thing on. We had 3 channels. We had to go up to the TV and turn the dial. It was amazing. You should have lived it. It was great.
No, thank you.
The next thing I want to discuss with you is also very important. It's Kim Kardashian is at the White House right now, speaking with Jared Kushner and other White House officials about prison reform. Now, before the show, I brought this up to you, and you had an extremely positive spin on this that was really refreshing.
I just said it's better than a number of other things she could be doing. We could get another app, or she could, try to make some positive change in the world. So of course, the first thing you think is like, what's that conversation? Is anything going to get done? Mm-hmm. But part of me is like, you know what?
Is she the right person? If anyone's going to the White House to talk about prison reform, is she the most qualified? Probably not.
But she got in.
Exactly. And
it's somebody who's super qualified. They might not want her there, but it's Kim Kardashian. So you let her come over, and then she tries to sneak attack you. She's like a Trojan horse. You know, we put information in her and then wheeled her into the White House, and now hopefully she's going to get something done. That'd be cool. What's Jared Kushner in charge of?
Being
I thought he was like a foreign
son-in-law.
I know, but I thought he was like.
I think it's a
foreign
very
relations.
general, like, it's like when you're a consultant, it's like a very general kind of like guy that's around. Like, I've got the president's like other cell phone, so I've got him on text. It's one of those.
Right. Interesting.
Well, it was a quiet news day until The Ringer published something that made everything very socially awkward. The Podfather Bill Simmons has a website called The Ringer. The Ringer published an article written by friend of the show, Benjamin Dietrich. And it was about Sixers president of basketball operations, Brian Colangelo. Ben Dietrich got an anonymous tip that hipped him to 5 Twitter accounts that he claimed, the Twitcher claimed, were run by Colangelo. These Twitter accounts had some things in common, like they all followed members of the Sixers media. They all were critical of players that were on the Sixers. They all gave commentary on Brian Colangelo's son's basketball games. And they all seem to be run by a gentleman by the name of Brian Colangelo. This is all alleged. I have so many questions for you about this, Katie. But my number one question is this. Why would an important, influential, affluent league executive of the NBA set up not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 burner accounts so he could go back and forth defending himself against trolls on Twitter?
Because he's allegedly, maybe, a deeply insecure person who wants to get information out that wouldn't be received if it came from himself. So he made a small army of people that just randomly defend him and thought nobody would notice.
It's really interesting because we saw this from Kevin Durant before, and I really think there's like a certain type of personality. There's a certain type of person that needs to voice, that needs to defend themselves, that needs to talk to these strangers, that needs to get this off of their chest, so to speak, just to get that heard and get that out there. Here's another question for you. The Sixers have a statement. Their statement is that they are going to launch an internal investigation. Now, Katie, I read the entire Ringer piece. You know I don't like to read long articles on the internet. I read the entire thing, and they put together a very good case that these are, in fact, Brian Colangelo's accounts. If this investigation finds that these are Brian Colangelo's accounts, do you think he will keep his job at the Sixers as president of basketball operations?
I mean, maybe they'll switch him over to PR. Clearly, he's very good at communicating in various different ways and getting that information out there.
It'll be a lateral move. So, this is what happens in the corporate world. They call it a lateral move. They're like, it's a lateral move, Brian. You're no longer president of basketball operations. You are now an assistant associate in the PR department managing social media accounts.
Can I bring up a stupid gripe I have with this story?
Oh, of course.
One of the Twitter accounts is uncount sources. It's supposed to say unknown.
Oh, my God. I didn't notice that.
Wrong.
I thought it was enough. It's enough uncount sources, and he spelled it wrong.
Uncount sources. Yep.
Do you think enough unknown sources was already taken?
Maybe, or do you think that he's so fed up with them that he doesn't even know how to spell them?
Another one was Philo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which didn't seem that inventive. Not very creative. I don't want that person who made that decision making my decisions about the future of my basketball franchise.
Exactly.
And there was
you can see the slippery slope. Like one of them he started, a couple years ago when he started them, he was just liking tweets or monitoring them or retweeting them.
The gateway to the burner accounts is just kind of liking tweets and stuff.
But people, if you're going to do a burner account, you got to toss in every now and then, like, tweets that aren't about something Brian Colangelo would tweet about.
Or Brian Colangelo's choice of collar. Like, maybe that's not something that you want to tweet about to throw people off the scent.
Tweet every now and then, be like, eating a burger. It's delicious. Hashtag burger.
Or just be like,
food.
LeBron versus MJ. Who's the GOAT? Question mark. You know, you got to throw some things in there just to kind of throw people off the scent.
Is that a debate people have? I've never heard of that.
No, not in this program. Well, A couple of things about this. One of the more damaging things is that when Dietrich reached out to the Sixers franchise, and he alerted them to 2 of the 5 accounts and asked if they were Brian Colangelo's. Coincidentally, that same day, the other 3 accounts went private. And also, probably the most damaging thing about all of this is some of the things that these accounts had to say about Joel Embiid. They said he wasn't a franchise player. They went after his ego. And they said that he acted like a toddler sometimes. Embiid, very familiar with social media, responded as only Joel Embiid can. The first thing he did was Joel Embiid to himself said, "Joel told me that Sam Hinkie is better and smarter than you." And then he copied one of the accounts. And then he wrote, "Fun night on Twitter, LMAO. All jokes aside, I don't believe the story. That would just be insane." Brian Colangelo has denied that these are his accounts. There's a lot of circumstantial evidence that proves that it is his account. Is it possible that this is not him? This is some sort of a obsessed fan, some sort of long con, that we are all been duped and these are not actually Brian Colangelo activated and run accounts?
There's maybe a 5% chance that it's not, in which case, okay, we had a fun day. We got to talk about it. I got to share my opinions on burner accounts. I think there are enough, from what I've read, there were enough things that made it seem like these were all run by the same person, and the Sixers unknowingly confirmed that that one account was his, the one that hasn't tweeted, it just follows people, without knowing that that account kind of corroborated that the other ones were him.
Exactly.
So they kind of made it hard for me to believe that it's not him. And if it isn't, I'm deeply sorry to him for even assuming. But if it is, which it is, then
so we don't have to apologize
fun.
yet.
Yeah.
We can apologize later, but that won't happen. Well, saying things about your future of your franchise and Joel Embiid and calling him a toddler, that's really damaging. But he also went after Gabrielle Union, which brings me to this question. Which is worse? Slandering Joel Embiid, your franchise player, or slandering Gabrielle Union?
Slandering Gabrielle Union. We both know that.
Easily.
We both know that. And the thing he was saying was something about how she was mean to a kid and she was eating pizza.
Something about pizza. Yeah, like who would keep pizza from a child? Pizza's great. I don't know what's happening.
If I'm eating pizza, why is there a kid? Get away from me.
Yeah, I also think they were in China. I can't imagine the pizza in China is very good either.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Why were they eating pizza?
Well, from bad to worse news for the 76ers. Page 6, respected journalistic outlet Page 6, is reporting that Ben Simmons is dating Kendall Jenner.
That's crazy.
It is. After all of this comes out about the Sixers, we now have a Jenner invasion. Do you think this means that Ben Simmons' career as an effective basketball player is over before it really got started?
No, and I'll tell you why.
Good.
Because she's not a Kardashian.
Ooh.
She's a Jenner.
Oh, so there is no Jenner curse.
Yeah, no one's ever talked about a Jenner curse. I mean, they're related to Kardashians, but you can't have the Kardashian curse when you're a Jenner, right?
Just look at, I know this isn't a debate show, but let me just try to poke some holes in that.
Okay.
Her sister Kylie dating Travis Scott. Travis Scott, huge fan of the Rockets. Rockets just lost in Game 7 and missed 27 three-pointers in a row.
You think the Kardashian curse is that strong that if you date somebody who's a fan of a team, that team's going to lose?
Yes, I do.
Boy, oh boy, I didn't know the extent of it.
Well, one thing I love is beer. It feels like beer has really changed in the past 5 years. So many craft breweries and IPAs and infused with fruits, and they come in funny glasses. It's become complicated. And I do like a nice IPA. But you know what? You know what my favorite beer is? Just a nice, easy drinking domestic light beer like Miller Lite. This episode is brought to you by Miller Lite because I love beer, but I'm also health conscious. I'm over 40. You know, you can't just drink 18 beers like I used to and still be skinny. But Miller Lite, you get all the great taste, and it's only 96 calories with 3.2 grams of carbs, so you don't have to compromise when you make the selection of the beer. I have a pretty discerning taste for domestic light beers, and Miller Lite is my favorite domestic light beer. You can get all the taste without all the calories and all the carbs when you choose Miller Lite. Game day will never be the same when you choose Miller Lite. Miller Lite, hold true.
Now, I've been focused on Brian Colangelo and his Twitter accounts for the past 24 hours. I've lost focus on the NBA Finals, but thankfully, other people in the sports media have not. And one of those people spoke to Kevin Durant about being consistently compared to LeBron James. And here is what Durant said about the comparison. He said, quote, "We're in two different places in our game. I'm still learning, still growing, and figuring things out. I feel like he is he is at this point. He's experienced so much more than I have, so he's looking at it from a different vantage point, but that's the beauty of basketball. You can have guys with different paths and different journeys, and they meet up on the court. It's magical, and it's fun." Katie Nolan, I have a question for you. After hearing that Kevin Durant said this, does Kevin Durant know that he's clearly not as good at LeBron James at basketball?
I will say that the quote is a pretty good quote. He doesn't say anything insane, but we're going to pick it apart anyway because that's our job.
What we do. Yeah, that's what we do.
To me, that quote sounded like a nice way to be like, LeBron's old.
Yes. It was like we're in two different places. His place is like
got
older.
More experiences.
He kind of
He's
is
done
who
this
he
for a
is.
long
He's like,
time.
I'm going to get better. LeBron James is going to get worse. So right now there's a comparison. In a couple years, I'll be the guy that everybody compares to MJ.
Yeah, it was very, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but I'm a new dog. Woof, woof.
Yes.
Teach me things. I've got lots of growing to do.
I like what you did there with the woof woof, too.
Thank you.
Well, one of the ways that I like to view all news stories today is through the prism of Brian Colangelo's burner accounts.
Of course.
Because Kevin Durant, no stranger to burner accounts. So I'm going to reread this quote, but instead of thinking about it as a comparison to LeBron James's basketball abilities, I like to think of it this time as a comparison to Brian Colangelo's burner account activities. Let's go back to the quote. "Me and Brian Colangelo are in two different places in our Twitter account game. I'm still learning, still growing, and figuring things out. He's got 5 accounts, so I feel like he is who he is at this point. He's experienced so much more than I have because he has 5 burner accounts and I just have 1. So he's looking at it from a different vantage point. But that's the beauty of having burner Twitter accounts. You have guys with different paths and different journeys, and they meet up on Twitter. It's magical and it's fun." Do you think that's a more accurate statement? Yeah.
Yeah, when you read it the second time, I noticed all these words that weren't in there before, and it's like, how did we not see that?
What do you mean? It's just, we just offer a new perspective here at Jalen and Jacoby.
That's really something.
Well, as we are on the eve of the NBA Finals, there are some people, I don't know how they got this idea, that they think this might be a little bit of a lopsided matchup. The Vegas odds are out of control. You have to spend $1,000 to win $100 if you want to bet on the Warriors. And they are one of the most heavily favored teams in the history of the NBA Finals, the Warriors. So, on the eve of the NBA Finals, someone spoke to Cavaliers head coach Ty Lue about this, and Ty Lue had this to say. "You can't cut us out. We've been in every possible position you can be in the playoffs. It's not over till it's over." Katie Nolan, have you already lost the NBA Finals if your head coach has to say it's not over till it's over and you haven't even played game 1 yet?
Yeah, it doesn't start till it starts, and it hasn't started. If you're already saying it's not over till it's over, it sounds like in your head you might believe it's over.
Yeah, I do like it hasn't started till it's started. That's a much better. You should have said that. You should have said instead of it's not over till it's over. How about it hasn't started? I can't even say it. It hasn't. That's probably why he didn't do it.
It hasn't started till it starts.
Professional broadcaster David Jacoby.
Yeah, that's my job.
Well, Kevin Love is still uncertain whether or not he will be joining his Cavaliers teammates in Game 1 because he's still in the concussion protocol. Katie Nolan, do you think LeBron James secretly doesn't want Kevin Love to play so he has a built-in excuse in case they lose?
I think LeBron will be able to find an excuse either way. Because no matter what happens, he can say that he doesn't have as many people on his team. He doesn't have the help he needs. It's kind of the sneaky, super smart thing about LeBron is like, if he wins, well, he did it all himself. If they lose, well, he didn't have any help. So, I don't know. I don't think it'll make that much of a difference. I would hope he's not sneaky, hoping that Kevin Love has something wrong with his head or brain.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Sometimes I read way too much into things because I come from a negative standpoint, and I realize that's a ridiculous claim because he wants Kevin Love to be healthy and to play basketball because he needs the help.
You'd hope, yeah.
Eminem did something on social media that we are hoping will become a trend. It is the art of the extremely pointless confession. Let's watch Marshall Mathers. Marshall Mathers?
All right, so here, this is like a confessional. 2009, 2010, I was at I went to the back to go change for stage, and as I'm taking off my underwear, I look across in 50's trailer, right even with me, is Val Kilmer sitting like this in the chair. And I know he's looking at me, and I know he looked away because he saw me looking at him. I know Val Kilmer saw me naked. I just had to get that off my chest.
A lot. Wait, I'm getting breaking updates on this story in my ear because we're very serious journalists here at this show. Val Kilmer has denied that he saw Eminem naked.
Whoa.
But it seems like I don't believe that denial because Eminem very specifically said that he made eye contact and then Val Kilmer looked away.
It's possible Val Kilmer just does not remember. What does that say about a naked Eminem?
Exactly. Well, we're trying to make this a trend here at Jalen and Jacoby, the pointless confession, so I had one myself.
Confession time. It was like 2014, 2015. I had to poop. I pooped in Anne Hathaway's house. Multiple times.
Brave.
We're opening up here on Jalen and Jacoby today.
Brave.
As we want to make this a worldwide trend, do you have a confession that you would like to make? A pointless confession?
I do. It's very similar to Eminem's.
Oh, no.
I've never done this before. Never told anybody this. Tom Brady has seen me in my bra.
What?
I was trying to change in like a back hallway. I've never met him. I was snuck into a back hallway while I was doing a shoot.
20-second timeout.
Do you want me to not?
I just want everyone that's watching this to know that not only is Katie Nolan a Patriots fan, she is a very big Tom Brady fan. Please continue, Ms. Nolan.
I was doing an interview with Julian Edelman. I had to change my shirt. The walk to the bathroom was too long, so there's like this little back hallway that I was like, there's no one around. I'll just rip my shirt off, put a shirt on. And I went to put the other shirt on, but I had buttoned it to the top, and so I was stuck in it. I couldn't get out. Then I heard a door open, which I assumed was like, oh no, somebody who works at the stadium is now looking at me stuck in my shirt. And I peeked through the hole, and I saw the number 12 walk by in cleats. He was with a trainer in a back room getting work done at practice and was going back out to join the team. And I was stuck in my shirt.
Stuck in your shirt.
With like mom jeans on. It was
oh my God. My favorite part is this, is that you had to like open up the little buttonhole to see who it was, and it was Tom
just
Brady.
The number 12, yeah. And when I came out, I like looked out and I looked to the people I was working with, and I said, "Was that?" And they were like, "Mm-hmm."
Well, it was because of that incident that trainer, Alex Guerrero, was no longer allowed to work at the Patriots facility.
That's it. He couldn't focus on whatever it is he focuses on anymore.
The TB12 method will never be the same. Thank you so much for sharing. That is exactly what we were trying to start here.
I'm
with
so
this.
sorry to everyone for it, especially
I want to thank you
Tom.
for sharing. I want to thank Eminem for bringing that out of Katie Nolan. First of all, you should be unbuttoning your buttons before you take the shirt off.
I know, I've never buttoned a button when it's not on me before. Why was it like that?
Yes. Well, the Warriors won Game 7 against the Rockets. They were celebrating as they do, and everyone went to the locker room, and it was this big parade of happy Warriors. And then Klay Thompson came in from a side door. He was not with his team. When he spoke with Ethan Strauss, he explained that he came in not with his team because, quote, I have to get this right because it's so insane, quote, I watch a lot of Harry Potter movies. Again, just to summarize, he explained that he wasn't celebrating with his team and he came in through a side door because he watches a lot of Harry Potter movies. Katie Nolan, we have something on this program called Failed Test, and that, for Klay Thompson, is definitely a failed test.
Wow.
Just for a moment, I'd like you to get in the head of Klay Thompson and just explain to us, translate from Klay Thompson to English, why he explained his absence by saying that he watches a lot of Harry Potter movies.
You know what? I think we should just take him at his word. He's telling the truth. Sometimes you win and you just need to get in a quick goblet of fire. Is that a Harry Potter movie?
It's a great point. I can't prove he doesn't watch a lot of Harry Potter movies, so he's factually correct. This is a question from Twitter from Brian Smith. It is Women Crush Wednesday. Every Wednesday we celebrate the superior gender of our species. Who is Katie Nolan's favorite female athlete of all time, and who is your favorite female athlete currently playing today?
Favorite female athlete of all time.
Yeah, I don't like to just put you on the spot with tough questions.
You did just completely put me on the spot.
I know. I can tell you mine if that makes you feel better.
No, I'm just trying to think. So it's either Jenny Finch.
Oh.
Because I was a softball pitcher and she was like the
Yeah, I
pitcher.
remember. She attended the ESPYs multiple times.
We'll go with Jenny Finch.
Jenny Finch is good.
Or Nadia Comaneci.
Love some Nadia Comaneci.
Love her.
I'm going to go with Mary Lou Retton for all time, just because that one moment where she did that thing in the Olympics when I was a kid and I was very excited about it. And I'm going to say Rebecca Lobo is also an inspiration to me because we both are kind of like unathletic but effective basketball players. Her obviously is much more effective than I am,
A little bit.
A professional.
Just a little bit.
And currently I'm going to go Serena Williams because she's boss.
I was going to say Serena, but that's a cop-out. You got to go with a deeper pull.
I know. That's what we're supposed to do. Brian Smith also had another good question from Women Crush Wednesday, and I like this one. What's your favorite dish your mom cooks?
Ooh, so my mom, not a big cook, but she makes a really good, I called it breadcrumb chicken, but since now I live in the world as an adult, they're like,
shake and bake?
It's just chicken cutlets.
Yeah,
she just makes really good cutlets.
Yeah,
and meatloaf. Her meatloaf is good.
My mom used to rock the shake and bake. It was the old put the thing in the Ziploc bag and then pour some breadcrumbs in there and shake it around.
She's got a whole a dipping system in
like
bowls.
The egg in that. Yeah.
But I had a lot of hamburger helper growing up.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. I would say that my mom always said that she didn't. We didn't allow her the opportunity to flex her culinary skills because of our discerning taste. Yeah. That was her thing. I liked it.
That's
it was
victim blaming.
Yeah. She was basically like, I'm basically like a Top Chef contestant, but you guys are holding me back because you have bad taste. So here is hamburger helper. You
want to put ketchup on everything. That's your fault.
Yeah. I always respected that from her. I always did. And keeping with the food, one of our co-producers named Uncle Mar tweeted us. Shout to Uncle Mar.
Shout out.
What's one food that you hate to see at a cookout? Doesn't bother me. I avoid the food I don't like.
Yeah.
So it's not. I don't get upset.
I love pasta salad, but I don't eat cold cuts. So if I see a pasta salad that looks delicious but has a bunch of chunks of cold cuts in it, I'm like, damn it, now I can't eat the pasta salad. So that's the only time it affects me.
I'm really glad you brought up the cold cut thing. I'm very influenced by the members of the Wu-Tang Clan and their various philosophies about life. And one time Ghostface Killah was like, don't eat cold cuts, And I was like, whoa, wait a second. Ghost, I really love a good boar's head deli sandwich, So why don't you eat cold cuts?
It's a thing. So, two things. When you go to a place that has a cold cut platter and you see the meat and it's been sitting out and it's sweating, not into that.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is just when you find out how they make some of them, not all of them. I'll eat prosciutto. Prosciutto's, I guess, technically a cold cut, but it's just a fancy cold cut.
It is.
When you find out they melt it down and form it into a loaf and then slice, it's just not for me.
Yeah. I'm getting kind of grossed out. We have a really good question from Kirkland's Finest. I love all Kirkland products, so of course this gentleman's going to be on the show every single day. Are you familiar with Kirkland? It's the Costco brand. Not a lot of Costco in the Northeast. It's one of the great things about living in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
it's like the house Costco brand. I'm wearing Kirkland underwear right now. Every single day. Yes, right now I promise I'm wearing Kirkland underwear. I
buy
eat
underwear
Kirkland
in
products.
bulk?
They have Kirkland beer. I've been with the same woman for 15 years. You don't need the fancy underwear.
You buy underwear in bulk though?
Oh, yeah.
How many pairs do you need?
Oh yeah. Well, I throw away the old ones. Kirkland isn't the most highest quality underwear, so they get a little kind of janky after a few wears. So you have to cycle through them.
Janky underpants. Okay.
Yeah. Again, when you're married and you've got 3 kids, you don't wear fancy clothes. I do not wear
something to look forward to.
Yeah. So Kirkland's Finest had said, and this is something I wanted to talk to you about. I don't know how much you can reveal. On a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the most drunk ever, how drunk were you on drunk history?
Which one?
You did 2 drunk histories. The latest one where you woke up with the oxygen mask on.
So that was the third one. That
Really?
was that was a 10. That was probably a 10.
Like what Alec Baldwin is to Saturday Night Live, you are to drunk history.
Yeah, I just keep showing
I don't know if that's good or bad. They're like, you're
It's probably
really
bad.
good at being drunk and, telling us about history.
After this last one, I was like, this is going to have an effect on my body. I stopped drinking for like a week.
A week?
Yeah.
Like stop drinking or just like 1 glass of wine?
No, I saw you like a week after, and you guys were having a drink on stage for the live podcast, and I was like, that was the first time I even thought about doing it, and I still didn't.
First of all,
it was tough.
Katie, we would never drink on stage at the live podcast.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We would drink
I'm sorry.
before we went on stage
That's right.
at the live
That's right.
podcast.
That's my bad.
We're
You're a
professionals.
professional. Yeah.
We're professionals.
Yeah.
When does this Drunk History episode air?
That's a really good question. They don't tell you, because once they record it, you have to cast it, and then they have to film those people
right.
acting it out. So it takes a while.
Right.
I'll let you know.
What was the story that you told? I'm curious about this.
The Black Sox scandal.
Story of the Black Sox handles.
The lights went out.
Good. The lights went out on Katie Nolan. Well, I look
My
forward
bad.
to watching that, and I also
It's going to be good or bad.
want to thank you very much for joining us. Want to thank everybody that tweeted us. We got a couple of voicemails. We're going to listen to one voicemail from the lady because it's Woman Crush Wednesday.
Hi, Jalen and Jacoby. My name's Kara, and I just found out from my husband that I thought the Cavs won the NBA Finals, but he told me that they played 4 7-game series, which just blew my mind because I don't know why they feel like they need to play 28 games to decide who's the best. It just seems like an outrageous amount of games, and I don't know. I don't know why they do it. I hate basketball. That's all.
Great call from Kara.
Oh, she said, I don't know, I hate basketball. And I just hung up the phone.
This is what it is. This is what it is. She's like, this dude is saying that every night there's this very important basketball game on, and then I watch this very important Game 7 and LeBron James wins, and I'm thinking to myself, this is the end of basketball for the year.
Yeah.
Great. I could actually watch Vanderpump Rules now until next October when basketball starts again. But
Or
then
maybe
she's
she just wants to watch hockey.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to be Vanderpump Rules. Maybe she loves hockey.
Maybe she loves
But
hockey.
that's also a 7-game series. She would be as
Maybe she's watching
shocked.
those Netflix documentaries that I've been watching lately.
That's right.
But are the NBA playoffs too long?
They do tend to drag.
Sure.
They felt like they've been moving this year. They're going kind of fast.
Yeah.
But I've had that thought before. Like, what's better to find out who's the best? 1 game or 7 games? Like, would it be better if it was just like 1 and done?
But that's kind of like the NCAA tournament style thing. But they had 5-game first rounds for a while there, which I didn't mind. You know, like in 5 games we can figure out who's the best. Like if you're gonna upset
Especially
the
in the
number 1
early
seed or whatever,
rounds.
you can do
Yeah.
it. You can do it then. Great.
7 is a lot of games.
One thing I liked about her is you could really feel the disdain that she had for her boyfriend and her boyfriend's selection and what to put the TV on. You could tell she had a thought, like her and her boyfriend talked about what she was going to say when she called, and he gave her the number and everything. And then she went to the script, and you could tell at the end she went off script. She was like, I hate basketball.
Yeah, that definitely was not written down on the script. She just was like, you know what? I need my feelings to be known. Sometimes the most interesting sports takes come from people that don't like sports, that say to me like, wait, I did the math. 28 games? That seems like it's more than it needs to be.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, you have a good point, and I can't defend the other side.
My wife
But
can
shush.
really cut through deep sports analysis. Like we'll be watching the Cavs, and she'll kind of be like, well, why don't they just give it to LeBron every time and him just dunk? I'm like, Like people
Not
spend
a
a
bad
lot of time.
question.
People spend a lot of time trying to break down offenses and what do they do if they're switching or how do we do this? Like, no, let's give it to LeBron and watch him dunk and see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned the Stanley Cup Finals. I become a hockey fan for 2 weeks every year for the Stanley Cup Finals. I dive all in, kind of like people do the World Cup or people do NCAA basketball. I'm 100% in this year. However, I like this year's matchup because it's 2 great outcomes. It's either 2 great stories, like the tortured Caps franchise, that there was the underachievers, or that whole thing, and they're also like the brand new expansion. Nobody believed in us. we're the guys that no one wanted. We got together, and it was the pure heart and grit that won us the championship. Two great outcomes. While you're watching these games, who do you want to win?
I will say it's like the opposite of the NBA Finals of like two teams that don't usually get here.
Yes.
So that's kind of cool. But I'm rooting for Vegas just like everybody else.
Oh, I'm rooting for the Caps.
You are?
Yeah. I've got a couple friends in D.C. Shout to Joe House. I just know how much it would mean to the city. And I kind of feel like if it's your first year as a franchise and you win, like there's nowhere else to go. And I think
but it's Vegas. They're used to winning and then losing and losing and losing and losing and then winning. Like, they'll be fine.
They will be fine. That's a good point. It does come in swings. Well, I want to thank Kara and her boyfriend for calling into the show. I want to thank Brian for hitting us up and Uncle Mar. And, of course, Kirkland's finest. But mainly, I just want to thank you, Katie Nolan. You can come back any single time you would like. Thank you all for listening to the podcast. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast and tell your friends to subscribe to the podcast. But, Katie, you don't have a podcast that people could subscribe to, could you?
I think I do. And it's called Sports with a question mark.
Sports with a question mark. You can listen to Katie Nolan, but not only Katie Nolan, you'll get our colleagues Daniel Dopp, you'll get Ashley Braybrand, some brilliant minds.
Brilliant minds.
Thanks so much for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow. Why, Reggie?
Done. We're not done. We're not done. Got to give the